It's a tutorial. Let's get into it. Hi, this is not meant to be my first video, but I was too excited to keep this to myself and I decided I'm just going to make a video about it. I have a comprehensive guide on how to create and record your own Sims 4 stories coming up, but doing my research for it, I came up across this very interesting thing that I think most of the people who are in the animation space are not really using or taking advantage of. It is something that is so much of interest to me, so I decided I'll just make a video about it. If you have the pose player mode, you would realize under the menus you have two options. One is to pose by name, the other one is to pose by pack. In this video I'll be showing you how to pose by name, and that is using the in-game animation list, actual Sims 4 animations you see in the game. Whereas the pose by pack is by using animations created by content creators. To me personally, they fit more with the Sims. Sims are less likely to look weird as compared to some of the animations you find out there. Some creators are very good, but you may have to pay because most of their stuff is hidden behind a paywall. So you can just rely on the animation list to get the basic ones, and maybe for special animations you can find other animation lists out there created by other content creators. I'm going to show you how you can pose using the in-game animation list, and all you need is the unused pose player, and you need a teleporter if you need to teleport to summon Sims as well. Then the final thing is the animation list. So if you have the mod and you have your teleporter and you have your sim, all you need to do is go to pose by name and you should pick any pose you want from the animation list. You can find the animation list on the unused player website too. If not, I would see if I can link it in the description. And now I'm going to show you what they actually mean, because they are codes, and trust me, you don't want to be using the wrong ones because you end up with your Sims looking like this. You definitely don't want that. So I'm going to show you what these codes mean and what you should pick when you search for an animation that you want. I'm going to break down the code we see here. So the first part is who is performing the animation. The second one is the action that is being performed, and the third one would tell us the outcome or the result of that animation. How do you know who is performing the animation? There are two variations. You could have one that is A to A, or you could have one that's just A. Now, what does A mean? A just means an animation being performed by an adult, and in the Sims that's a teen, young adult to elder. So any animation that starts with an A, you see A in there, means it's being performed by an adult. On the animation list, any animation that starts with an A means is an animation code for an adult. There are codes for cats, dogs, and adults, cats, adult pets as well. So be on the lookout when you see such a code. If it starts with a C, it means it's an animation code for a child. This should give you an idea of what sim can perform or should perform this animation code. If it starts with a P, it means it's an animation code for a toddler. There are some interaction animations where it's between different various age groups, so in that case you will have to know which code is for which group. We'll get more into that later. These are the various age groups and objects, and will tell you who or what is involved in an animation. In this case, where we have A to A, it simply means that it's an adult to an adult interaction. The second part of the code is going to tell you the action that is being performed in that animation. So you should look out for any action. In this example, we have apartment and give keys, which simply means that person who is an adult is given an apartment key to another sim who is also an adult. In The Sims 4, most of the animations played by your Sims mostly ends up being either your Sim succeeding in that action or sometimes they fail. The latter part of the animation code will tell you whether it's going to play the failed animation or it's going to play the successful animation. At the end of an animation code, you will notice there's either an X or an Y. This is very important and I'm going to explain what they mean. The X simply means this is the code for the sim that would start that interaction, and the Y means this is the code for the sim that will be reacting or receiving that action. So now we have our two sims here who are going to demonstrate for us. They are two adult sims. So one is going to perform the X part of the animation and the other would do the Y part of the animation, and you would see that we're going to play the failed one because I went with the failed animation. So she gives the key and it's a failed animation because she rejects, and you see the way she also acts when she rejects the key. I'm going to do the one with the successful one, and you see both of their actions are different at the end of performing it. When she gives the key and is successful, her reaction is different. Same as when she takes the key, she acts different. If you notice from the previous one, X reaction and when she accepts the key is actually different from her reaction from when Y rejected the key. That is an example of an animation that will fail and one that succeeds. I'm posing another one where she makes funny faces and Y would either find it funny and it succeeds, or she doesn't and it fails. Sometimes you can find different versions of an animation, and that was the first succeed reaction to her making the funny face, and this is version 2. So far, I haven't changed the code for X, I've just been changing it for Y. Be reminded that you don't have to always use these animations X and Y side by side. You can always use them independently. What I'm doing now is just changing their position whilst they are still in pose, and I'm doing that with Wicked Whims. I know you may have also noticed that I'm not using the pose by name anymore, I'm just doing it using Wicked Whims. I find that using Wicked Whims is a bit easier than having to go into the menu and explore or look for pose by name, because Wicked Whims, when you have your sim already posed, all you need to do is click on them and then just go into posing without having to explore the menu. So going forward, I will be posing with Wicked Whims, but you can go ahead and use Pose Player, it should work just fine. So you have your X being the one performing your action or the animation, and you have your Y being the sim who is receiving or is going to react to that action. So we just went through the basic parts of the animation code. Next is how you're going to make sure you pick the right code, because if you don't pick the right code or the appropriate code for the right sim, object or pet, you're going to get some really weird results, unless that's what you want, because I know most of you are weird, so I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, make sure you pick the right one. Just using a child animation code for an adult, and you can see how it looks. Step 1 in knowing what animation you should be picking is by knowing the prefix. So if it's a child animation you're looking for, that means you should look out for the one with C. If it's an adult animation you're looking for, you should look out for A. Also, there are the interactions between the various sim age groups, sims and pet, sims and objects. Examples are an adult and a child and adult, a child and a pet, a child and a toddler, so on and so forth. There are so many variations depending on who is performing the action and who is going to receive them. When it comes to animations that involves two sims, or a sim to an object or a sim to a pet, be very mindful of who is performing the action and who is reacting to the action. In the case of an adult to an adult interaction, you can just do the vice versa if you get it wrong, or if it's the case that you just want to switch who is performing which interaction. Same is for a C to C, which is a child to child interaction. You can just switch the animation code to make each one perform the other interaction. However, in some cases like an adult to child, child to adult, you can't just switch the animation codes. What we will be doing now is test a child to adult animation, and the child to adult animation means the child would be using the X animation code and the adults would be using the Y animation code. So that was the first test using the X and Y appropriately. Now I'm going to switch them and you would see what happens. You may have been expecting both of them to act weird since I switched, and it turns out one actually still works. I am on to why this is working this way. I have another video coming up exploring more into that detail, but yeah, for now, this is what you'd see. One of the code wouldn't work right. There are more other prefix, should I call them prefix? I don't know what they are. There are more other short codes for who is performing the animation that I didn't cover, like for pets. I'm onto that as well, and I'll make mention of them in my next video. There are others that at the point of even this recording, I still don't really know what it means, and that's for TAL. I still can't figure out what they means. They play with some certain adults and some work with pets. I'm not really so sure what they mean, so I may or may not cover that one too in my next video. But yeah, now I know, don't be mad. You're going to say, oh, she didn't really show me how to actually find or search for something. Well, I'm going to take you through the animation code list and how you can spot and find exactly what you're looking for. So in the list, when you can go to find, or you can use the shortcut Control F and then type in anything you want. So for instance, if we should type in flirty, you can just go up or down depending on where you are on the animation list. It's gonna go up or down. If there's no more search for that particular word upwards, it would give you a notification. Same as if there's no more search for that particular word you're searching for downwards, it would give you a notification. So just bear that in mind when you're finding next. It could be there, but you would not find it. I don't know how you used to search or if you've ever done it. How I did it previously was I would search for maybe flirty, but then I'll get so many and I have no idea what the codes mean or which one to pick. From what we've learned so far, when you find that word, you have a fair idea of who is going to perform the animation and who is going to be receiving the animation. And like I mentioned earlier, the animation list is very friendly. If it has an action and a reaction, you would find them together. You find X and Y together. So it's very friendly in that manner. So when you search a word, next one, let's do chat. If you do chat, you can find so many of them. So you know, you have an idea from what we've done so far what animation you find, whether it's going to be for a child, an adult, or whoever is involved. Now you have a better understanding of what the animation code you found is, and if it's what you're looking for. If it's not, just go up and down and then find something that works for you. To copy from the list, just highlight the animation code, right click to copy, or use the shortcut Ctrl+C. And when you go into the Sims game, what you need to do to paste is Ctrl+V. You can't paste with the mouse in the game, it doesn't work. In the next slides are some few points. Look through for yourself, and if you enjoyed this video, if you understand these codes better than I do, please let me know in the comment section what I'm missing and what I'm not doing right. I would love for this to be a thing where we learn from each other what we know about the code list. So that's all the basics that I have for you today. Now you know what and how to understand a code, who is going to perform it, what action they'll be performing, and when you see it, you know if it's a single animation or it's an interactive animation, who is going to perform the X code and who should be performing the Y code. Like I mentioned before, use them independently if you want. Storytelling, most likely you may want to go with both of them. So now you know, and now you can use them for your storytelling. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.